I didn't.
Sorry.
There we go. Trustee Baldini.
Here.
Trustee Iverson.
Here.
Trustee Goff.
Here.
Student Trustee Shaw.
Here.
Trustee Dodd.
Here.
And Trustee Baker.
Here.
Okay,
All right.
all present.
So we're ready for the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Baldini, would you like to lead us?
Certainly. Perhaps it could be difficult. My dog wants to join in, so
That's okay. They can pledge allegiance too.
I'll pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United
States of America
and
and to the republic
for which
it
it
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. So, sorry, I accidentally muted myself. So here we are. Okay, 2.3, adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes proposed?
I believe there are. Charles Alberon, do you want to advise us?
Yes, good afternoon, board. Catherine, can you please throw the agenda point 4 up so that I can reflect appropriately? I am requesting to pull 5.1 from closed session, along with just 5.1. That is correct.
Okay.
Right. If there are no further changes, I believe we can adopt the agenda by consensus. So we move on to recognition, and this is going to have a resolution in honor of the Napa Valley College classified professionals. But first, we are going to have some presentations. So I think Ron's going to introduce some people who will introduce some other people who may actually introduce some more people. So Ron, you're up.
Okay, thank you. I think I will just hand it off to Oscar to start this, and then you guys can just handle it as we go. All right, so Oscar I'll introduce Oscar, who will introduce his folks, and we'll just keep hunting that ball.
Thank you very much, Elder Craft. Yes, this evening we have one member of Student Affairs who is being recognized for her 15 years of service to the college. The bulk of those years have been in a program that we have here in Nevada for at least 21 years. That's called Educational Talent Search. It's a federal program that's been very successful under the leadership of Ramon Salceda. Ramon, as manager of that program, is here today to speak a few words about and on Maria Vasquez. Ramon, please.
Yes, thank you, Oscar. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everybody can hear me okay. You good? Excellent. Well, once again, good afternoon. My name is Ramon Salceda. I am the director of the Educational Talent Search Program here at Napa Valley College. And today I have the pleasure of sharing some words regarding a very well-deserved recognition for Maria Vasquez, who's administrative assistant for the Educational Talent Search Program. You know, we have a saying that I'm sure many of us have heard, that time flies when you're having fun. And I know Maria and I, you know, we've on numerous occasions talked about how time has flown by since we've come here to Napa Valley College and worked here and been students here as well. And so I can attest to the fact that she feels that these 15 years have flown by, and it's primarily because she loves what she does. You know, that's what it comes down to. You know, she loves working with students. She, quite frankly, always keeps the students and the families' interest in the forefront of all of her actions. She's always displaying an unwavering commitment to assisting others. And that, of course, you know, is not limited to the fact that she works, you know, with the Educational Talent Search staff, students, and families, but quite frankly, with anybody who she comes across, whether that be the beginning of the semester and we have one of those famous lost students who are looking for a classroom, or perhaps a member of our community who's coming onto campus for the very first time. She not only assists them, but she does it with a genuine smile and with the customer service that we all look forward to one day achieving. You know, it's quite admirable. So needless to say that Maria is an invaluable asset to not only the Educational Talent Search Program, to Napa Valley College, but to the community at large. So, you know, for me personally, I send you, Maria, a heartfelt thank you, congratulations, very well deserved. These last 15 years, you know, you've done amazing work. And although this may sound like a retirement speech, I sure hope that's not the case, because I look forward to working alongside you for many more years. So thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Ramon. Gracias. Thank you.
Let me jump in here. We have one member of our administrative services family who is being honored tonight. That's Rick Foley from Printing Services. And here to say a few words about Rick is Carolee Catalica.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, trustees. And I really, really appreciate you recognizing Rick Foley. He is a really extraordinary employee and dedicated to the college. He's also a genuine pleasure to work with. He is always cheerful, always smiling, always ready to help. If you've ever made that panicky call to the print shop, I need this now, Rick has come through every time for, I would say, just about every customer he has. He is definitely the center of print services on campus and runs a very small but very busy shop, or at least pre-COVID, it was very, very busy and will be again. He produces testing materials, classroom handouts, flyers, signs, business card, graduation certificates, mass mailings, you name it, he can address the job. His dedication to his customers is truly phenomenal. He can turn around the rush jobs in hours, even when he has to edit or redesign or otherwise fix up the files that he receives for printing. Rick's been here for 15 years. He helped move the presses and the copy machines from the 1500 building back in the day when the old library was renovated into the administrative services building. And he's upgraded the print equipment there before and after the move, and just finished a new upgrade. And we are looking forward to his leadership in selecting and implementing a new online job ticketing system, which will serve our campus and our business office much better. It'll be easier. It's, all auto-loaded. You don't have to fill out a paper form. It'll be good. And it might even allow us to broaden our customer base to members of the public or the local school districts. So thank you again for recognizing Rick's 15 years of exemplary service. And thank you, Rick, for being such a fantastic employee.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. There are two classified professionals who provide invaluable support to two of our instructional programs. And we are joined tonight by Senior Dean Bob Vandervelde, who has worked closely with Laura Christensen and Timothy Holtzlag, and will speak to the contributions that they continue to make.
Thank you, Dr. Parker, and thank you, Board, for recognizing these important members of the Napa Valley College family. I've only worked with these for the last 4 years since I've been here, of their 15 years, but they are consummate professionals and folks who work to make sure that our faculty and students have what they need. In Laura Christensen's case, in supporting physics, engineering, and geology, she's a tinkerer. And that's exactly what you want in that field, right? Maintaining all of that equipment, making sure that everything is working and in its place. And some of it's been with us for many, many years, but still serving the needs of our students and our faculty. And that's somebody who has been very helpful in doing that. Before I got here, of course, we had the earthquake. We've had many natural disasters since then, but in the earthquake, the whole physics and engineering and geology area in that building just was a complete mess. The photographs that I've seen, imagine a store where everything in the grocery, the shelves are off, everything's off the shelves, and the shelves themselves have fallen on their sides, and that's what things looked like. But Laura was instrumental in helping pull all of that back together, preserving what we could, fixing what we needed to fix, and replacing what needed to be replaced, and things wouldn't happen without her. I had talked about what an instructional support specialist is. A good instructional support specialist meets the needs of the faculty in those areas. A great instructional support specialist anticipates those needs. Some of us are old enough to remember Radar O'Reilly. And Radar O'Reilly was that kind of support specialist that anticipated the needs, and that's what we have here today. And we certainly also have that with Tim Holstag, who works in the theater area. You're familiar with the concept of behind the scenes. Well, Tim is the one who builds the scenes. He's responsible for all of the set construction, of managing the construction shop, of working with the students who help in those processes of behind the scenes. And you might wonder what, we haven't had shows lately in the theater, so what's going on there? And a lot has been going on. Tim has almost single-handedly redone all of our costume storage and prop storage in both the basement of the Performing Arts Center and in the 1100 building, and of course redoing the scene shop as well. So a lot of great work has been done in making sure that we will come out of the pandemic in a better place than where we started. So I am grateful for the service of these excellent employees, and I am thankful to all of you board members for recognizing them for their continued service.
Thank you. Is that we made it all the way around? If you'll,
I think so.
yes, Trustee.
So
Sure.
we have a resolution that we're going to adopt. I could read the whole thing, but I don't think I will. But I do want to just pull out a couple things that strike me. I'm a classified person too, so I know that you guys are the bones of the organization, and you're also very much the face of the organization. And one of the whereases in here that I particularly like is whereas they welcome students, parents, community users, and other guests to the campus with warmth, generosity of spirit, and keen drive to provide excellent service, thereby enhancing the success of events, activities, and interactions throughout. And I think that customer service, it was brought up by at least one of our speakers, and that is just customer service, regardless of whether it's an internal customer or an external customer. It's really just fantastic that we have these wonderful people on staff and that they will stay with us, because this is 72 classified professionals will have reached 15 years of regular service at NBC by the end of June. And that just really speaks to the fact that they love the work, and that we have just a really great community of people here working together to provide great service. So we have a resolution, and I think we need to have someone to move to adopt it.
So move.
Second.
I missed who the first one was. Who was the first one?
Trustee Baldini.
Okay, so Trustee Baldini has moved to adopt, and I believe it was Trustee Iverson who seconded. So if we could get a vote here, we've got, okay, so Trustee DeLuna, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd?
Yes.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Trustee Baldini?
Aye.
Student Trustee Scholl?
Aye.
And then I too will approve of that adoption. So we have unanimous adoption of the resolution. So thank you again. I know someday we will get to have cake again. It's going to have to be a giant cake, and I'm really looking forward to that. So in the meantime, we will celebrate you virtually. And so now we have, we're moving into closed session. And so at this time, the board will devote a total of up to 15 minutes to hear comments regarding closed session agenda items. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment for our closed session items? I can read out what they are. They are going to be, we removed 5.1. So 5.2, complaints or charges against a public employee. Conference with labor negotiation, 5.3, 5.4, conference with real property negotiators, and 5.5, public employee evaluation. So do we have anyone who would like to comment on any of those items?
I see no public comment, and I have received none via email.
All right, and so then we will enter into to closed session, closing public comment for that, and we should be returning at approximately 6:15 p.m. So we will see you shortly.
Okay, Trustee Baker, we're all here.
All right, so we are entering back into closed session at 6:35 p.m. I'll apologize for our tardiness. And so during closed session, the board unanimously, with one abstention from Trustee DeLuna, voted to deny the appeal of an administrative determination on a discrimination complaint of a classified employee pursuant to Title V, Section 59338. So those are the only reportable actions from closed session. So going back into public session, we're opening now for public comment. This public comment opportunity is governed by the State of California Brown Act. By definition, this is an opportunity to hear concerns, perspectives, and differing vantage points. The board is not able under the Brown Act to engage in any level of conversation or discussion, but we look forward to this opportunity to gather community input. At this time, the Board of Trustees will devote up to 15 minutes to review comment to the Board of Trustees regarding any subject not appearing as an agenda item for this meeting, but over which the board has jurisdiction. The public may request that the board place an item related to the business of the district on a future board agenda. No action or discussion will occur at this time on such items. Each comment shall last no longer than 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment?
I have received none from email. I see there are 4 attendees. Is there any public comment over there? You can raise your hand. Nope, I see no public comment.
All right, then. So we can close public comment and we'll be moving on to reports. And first on the agenda is Academic Senate with Dr. Eileen Tejada. Is Dr. Tejada with us this evening?
I do not see Dr. Tejada today.
Okay, well, if she shows up, we can circle back.
Okay, I'll watch.
She's at another academic meeting tonight. So
Okay.
she gave apologies.
So then do we have Administrative Confidential Senate report? Robert Harris.
Yes, good evening, Board of Trustees, campus administration staff, and guests. Since our last meeting last month, the Administrative Senate membership has been busy working on our ongoing support of students, colleagues, and the general campus community. The pandemic continues, but we are all seeing the potential light at the end of the tunnel, and we are planning for a fall semester that will bring a few more people back to campus. We've been busy collaborating with faculty and classified professional colleagues in the accreditation process that started in late fall 2020. Movement forward is on track with Dr. McGowan's and Dr. Warnell's timeline, and we are confident that we as a college will once again illustrate that the values we hold dear and embody on a daily basis to continually support our students are well documented and sustainable. Therefore, we are confident at the end of the accreditation journey we will achieve high marks for the standards and expectations to which we adhere. The Senate membership is working to provide feedback to campus leadership groups and committees to ensure that all necessary and appropriate protocols and procedures are in place to provide a safe and secure workplace and learning environment for all members of the campus community. We're also looking ahead to planning for summer institutes for professional development and planning for our professional development and fall flex days. Obviously, we continue on the roller coaster ride that is the COVID pandemic, but we are looking forward to once again working with our students and colleagues in person as soon as it is safe and people are comfortable doing so. The Senate will be selecting an Administrative Confidential Employee of the Year in the next month. We plan to make the announcement of the recipient at next month's Board of Trustees meeting. As an aside, you may recall that at the March meeting, I invited any and all campus employees who are receiving their second vaccination at the Upper Valley campus on March 22nd and 23rd to join my colleague Bob Vanderveld and I for a shot and a root beer. While not many took advantage of the root beer portion of the opportunity, we were able to mingle and visit with quite a few colleagues, many of whom we hadn't seen in many, many months in person, who were pleased to be receiving their shot. We all look forward to the day that we are back on campus and in person. Thank you for your time this evening.
You're muted, Jennifer. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't need to unmute. Next, in our group of reports, we have the Associated Students of Napa Valley College report from USP Jimenez, and I believe she has a guest with her.
Yes, I do. My guest is Marcus Texan. I'm not sure if he is in this meeting or not. I think he's in the attendees list.
So maybe we can, if he needs to speak, maybe Catherine can give him the ability to do that.
Yes,
Please.
I'm bringing him in.
Thank you. So on my report of the Associated Students of Napa Valley College, I just wanted to say that we are working with Martha on the graduation celebration. We are looking to have a photo booth, and we are working on a different event, a cultural event with the library. And we're very much looking forward to that event. And I would like to present Marcus Texan to present the DEI resolution that was presented to us by the Student Senate of California Community Colleges.
Thank you, Yusby. Good evening, Board of Trustees and administrative staff. My name is Marcus Texan, and I serve as the 4th Senator at Large for the Associated Students of Napa Valley College. And today I'll be talking about the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusivity resolution given to us by the Student Senate of California Community College. Before I continue, I just want to reflect on this past year of the coronavirus pandemic and the impact of racially motivated crime on our Asian American and African American communities. This past year has been an age of not only the rise of these crimes, but also an age of change and an age of activism, which these events has also inspired and serves as a catalyst to pass this resolution last month. A few key takeaways from this resolution, which is located as agenda in the agenda, is one of the clauses which the SSCCC, which states that the SSCCC has a mission to increase diversity, equity, and inclusivity on campuses throughout the state. They plan on doing this by creating an anti-racism plan of action, which includes incorporating DEI into the campus, into the classroom, by diversifying staff or including valuable resources on core syllabi. Additionally, they want to guide revisions of hiring policies similar, like I stated, to diversifying staff and providing professional developments for students such as equity training. By passing this resolution, ASNVC is committed to supporting SSCCC in its mission and assessing ways we can incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusivity on our campus. We did speak to Senior Dean Robin D'Arcangelo and Vice President Oscar DeHaro regarding any questions we had about the resolution. The two questions that we did send forward were, are there any repercussions by passing this resolution, and what resources we can share? The answers to that are there are no repercussions, and if we wanted to contribute a monetary donation or a monetary contribution. We would need to use funds from the student activities fee. Now, the implementation and integration of the resolution has yet to be discussed at an ASNBC meeting, but I hope to discuss this during a meeting this month as we prepare for a transition as our term is ending in May. A few ideas at the top of my head include forming a student government DEI committee, which can help serve as a liaison between the SSCCC and help research resources we can share on our campus and at a statewide level. Of course, this committee would work hand in hand at the district level with the district DEI committee, and primarily its primary purpose would be, again, serving as a liaison between the SSCCC and our college. Are there any questions among the Board of Trustees or faculty? If there are none, I would like to thank all of you for this opportunity, and if you have any questions, UCB has my contact information. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know that the board will support this, so we appreciate that. I appreciate your work and your input. Is there any further report from ASNBC?
I would just like to reiterate on the cultural event that we're hosting with the library. It will be in May. And yeah, that's kind of it. I just forgot to mention that. It was going to be in May.
Thank you. All right. And so our next report from Valerie Mull, Classified Association report. She's got it posted. Did you want to add anything to your report? I think I saw her earlier.
She's there. Valerie's there. But...
Yeah. Oh, did you have anything more to say, Valerie, or we just have your report?
You're muted, Valerie. That's why.
I don't see she's. Here we go. No.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you, Trustee Baker. Technology has been
It's been challenging the last few days.
Just a few words. I would just like to echo the sentiments expressed earlier about our 4 classified professionals that have reached their 15-year anniversaries. It's quite a testament to this college that we have such longevity. And not just within the classified professionals, but within all areas of operations on this campus. I did do a little mathematical study on our the composition of our classified professionals currently. So it lends itself more to a visual medium than an audio one. So if you have a chance, take a look. We do have 151 current classified professionals at this college, more than half of which have been here for less than 10 years. So I think that's an exciting opportunity for the college to continue this, continue the longevity that we have experienced with all of our staff for so long. So we'll make every effort to continue to train and retain our classified professionals. Other than that, we do have an election coming up. We'll have a new slate of officers taking office in August. So we look forward to sharing that information with you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, then. Classified Senate report. Martin Shoemaker, are you here with us?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here. I'm in the dark. Yeah, no, I think Valerie hit it on the head and stuff. And I think that's part of the changing of the guards. We're coming in with some fresh people, and yeah, I think it revitalizes us. So I'm looking forward to this, getting ready for the fall and open the school back up. So yeah, and I think that's it. Looking forward to seeing you guys again.
Gotta eat that cake. Gotta eat the big cake.
Yeah. We're going to have a retro cake when we all meet up,
I don't need retro calories, though. I can't even do. Thank you, Martin. I don't believe Christy Iwamoto is with us this evening. So we will move on then to President and Cabinet reports, please.
Thank you. We have several things going on. I think what we can start, there's a lot of reporting, but we'll try to do our best to make them work quickly as we go through. And I also want to comment quickly on the classified professional staff. I echo Valerie's congratulations. We have a very solid staff, very dedicated, and it shows in our student success and you know, as administrators, we so lean on the support of our classified staff. So thank you, and it's great to see those people are honored for for hanging in here all the time and being here. So thank you again. Let's start with the foundation report. Jessica Thomason is here to give us an update as a kind of a regular feature of the president's area. I think you're
Hi.
There you are.
Hello. Yeah, just a quick update on where we're at with the foundation. As you know, we're really reinvigorating our processes and management. We have some new board members. One of the things we've been looking at is reworking our annual campaign and re-engaging a lot of our major donors. So one thing we're working on is putting together a President's Circle, which is a major donor club. It's similar to what the Friends campaign was, but our effort with this is to really do a better job of linking our major donors with activities within the college. And so, and also with the president and trustees and board members. So we will be meeting with public affairs and others within the college to put together a benefits package that we will then start marketing. So you will be seeing that soon. Our next board meeting is Wednesday, April 28th. And one of the things we will be looking at is going through the strategic planning process. We have a consultant, as I've mentioned before, with Gonser Gerber that'll lead us through about a 3-month process, and we'll start a preliminary planning phase for that. We just finished reviewing our scholarships and worked closely with Valerie Mullen Financial Aid. And that was a really rewarding process for a lot of our board members. It was great. We actually grew our committee this year, so there were a lot more board members that were able to read those student applications. Val is helping us, and we're discussing doing an online ceremony for the first week of May. And we also really want to do a small, meet and greet event, reception for donors and also for the student awardees. And we're hoping we could do this in late summer, early fall, depending on COVID restrictions. One item that's coming up is we're doing an online auction. And I did send a postcard with information on that. And so this will be online May 19th through the 26th. That's the website we have put together that you can access and see lots. We have a lot of lots. We got a lot of wine, a lot of donations, which is great. So we now need a lot of people. So please spread the word. Join yourself. You can, visit and see what kind of lots we have and plan ahead of time. But that is going to be happening next month. So it'll be a busy month. We'll have our scholarship ceremony and we'll have this online auction. And we've been participating in Demand Blue, the Salesforce consulting, and they're helping us set up our scholarship financials within Salesforce so we can do our apportionment and reporting to donors on their fund balances and so forth directly out of the database. So this is a operational thing, but it's going to make a huge difference in the lives of our donors. So that is what we've been working on. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to see there's not only life, but activity and momentum in the foundation. It's very exciting to see. We have an accreditation update. I believe that you guys are standing by for that.
It's just me tonight, but yeah.
Okay, thank you, Robin.
So you're welcome. Good evening, board. I'm here to provide a brief update on the development of our ICER, which, just to remind you, is our Institutional Self-Evaluation Report for Accreditation. My partner in crime, Jim, isn't able to join us this evening, and he sends his regrets. So between the last Board of Trustees meeting and now, we've passed a few milestones in our process. And so, Catherine, if you could please advance to the next and final slide. Thank you. So we passed a few milestones. On March 12th, Dr. Catherine Webb of the ACCJC, she's a vice president there, offered an advanced training for our writing team members. Approximately 30 writing team members attended, and the training provided an opportunity for us to ask questions. One of Dr. Webb's goals in the session was to help re-energize all of us for the remainder of our work. And she reminded us really of the power of self-reflection, peer review, and accredited status. She emphasized some recent changes in the approach to the process and indicated that moved away from the kind of gotcha or audit type of feeling of accreditation maybe in the past, more toward a perspective that we're already meeting the standards, and the ICER is the beginning of that process. Dr. Webb shared with us kind of a metaphor that the ICER is like a pretest at the beginning of the semester. And in that document, we identify areas where we might need to give some extra attention to start, and then we can start working on those now, and between now and October 2022, when we will have our peer review team site visit. March 19th, we convened our accreditation steering committee. And also that was the date that the first drafts of the responses to the standards were due from our writing teams. The Accreditation Steering Committee has already begun reviewing drafts of portions of the ICER that are not assigned to our writing teams. Some examples of those parts include a brief history of the college, our compliance with eligibility requirements, and data. And Jim and I are responsible for drafting those parts of the report. Jim and I are in the process of reviewing the first drafts that we received last month, and we will be providing feedback to the writing teams beginning next week. In fact, we've already scheduled meetings with 3 teams that will occur next week. And so that is my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you might have any.
Questions? Are we good? Okay, thank you, Robin. Let's see, we have a couple things from Bob's area, a budget update and technology, and we'll just kind of link those together.
Okay, great, thank you. And so just a very quick budget update to let you know that we are coming down the home stretch on the budget development process for our 2021-2022 operating budget. All of the area councils have completed their reviews or are in the process of wrapping up their reviews of their unit plans to bring them forward to President's Cabinet, and we will be reviewing those unit plans and prioritizing during the month of April. Ultimately, the goal is to take the tentative budget, a proposed tentative budget, to the Planning and Budget Committee for review in early May. That would then result in a campus forum, probably a virtual campus forum, but a campus forum in the middle of May, so before the semester ends, while faculty and students are still here and have the opportunity to participate. And then the results of that would be presented to the president, and that would result in bringing a tentative budget to the Board of Trustees, to the Audit and Finance Committee, and to the Board of Trustees in the month of June. And we are required to adopt a tentative budget by the end of June so that there is a budget in place on July 1st. So that's where we are in terms of the budget development process for next year. Moving on to technology. So I'm sure you're aware we had a little interruption, more than a little interruption, last week. And I've heard some people refer to it as an email outage. It was much more than an email outage. It actually affected all of our systems here on campus. And it was actually driven by a problem with our, and I have to read this, have to read what the IT staff has given me here, but we had a problem with our site domain name server. And that's what allows this traffic from outside coming in and then going out. It actually allows anything internet related to be identified on our network. And so we worked with, this was a Microsoft issue, we worked with Microsoft Premier Support to troubleshoot this issue, and they were ultimately able to help us to resolve it and get the service back online. We also learned through working with Microsoft that Microsoft itself also experienced a major domain name server outage due to what they think was an attack on their hosted infrastructure. And so it is possible, we're investigating, but it's possible that this could have been fallout from that global domain name server attack. But we were able to resolve that and get systems back up. And so this was in no way related to the move to Office 365 for our email, which was happening at the same time. And the move to Office 365 technically went pretty well. What we learned from the process, and we're getting feedback from folks here on campus, is that the education process or preparing folks for the move could have been better, and that there were issues that came up and questions that came up that we could have done a better job of preparing people, because it looks different, it reacts differently. There were some issues with the interaction between Office 365 and your phone and other issues like that. People were experiencing some issues with calendars, and a lot of that was just there could have been better preparation to let people know this is what to expect and this is how you know, the one comment I heard, which was absolutely true. We gave you the instructions in email, but if you couldn't access your email, you couldn't get the instructions. And so so we learned quite a bit from that process, and I will say that I think we're resolving all of the bumps, and people have worked through that. And ultimately, the goal was to move off of our local server and into the cloud and onto Office 365, and we have accomplished that. We might have given folks, including myself, a few more gray hairs. But I think we're all there. Most of us are there at this point, and we are still moving forward. I'm hoping that people are seeing that the response time for our single sign-on has improved. Since now you're all using single sign-on to get to Office 365, and so I know myself I'm not experiencing the difficulties with accessing, and so I hope other folks are experiencing, because that was the second part of the technology upgrades that we were working with our consultant on. And by the way, we contracted with the consultant to help us move everybody to Office 365. We didn't contract with them to help us teach everybody how to use Office 365. And so I can't blame those difficulties on the consulting firm. I think the consulting firm has done a great job for us in making these overall upgrades. So we will be reaching out to members of the campus community again next week to get some feedback on how we could, if we have in the future, and there's always some technology upgrade, but as these upgrades come up in the future, how we can do a better job of preparing everybody for that upgrade. So that is my technology update for tonight.
Thank you, Bob. Well done. and much better than the time I forgot my anniversary. Yours went so much smoother. The issue, it is a serious piece, and you know, I think our team and consultants, you know, are really wrestling with this challenge, and we all know. So I appreciate it. We're getting there. Summer and fall semester planning, Vice President Parker to kind of jump in. And
yes.
That.
Can somebody? Do I have a bunch of feedback?
No, you're fine so far.
Okay, great. I had to switch to my headphones.
He's done fine.
Since I last talked to you. Okay. Catherine, do you mind opening up the summer and fall there? Thanks so much. Okay, good evening, Board of Trustees. Tonight I'm going to share an update with you on our summer and fall schedules. These 4 bullet points here capture the overarching themes that characterize our approach to planning for summer and fall semesters. I'll provide a bit more detail about each of them as I go through the next 4 slides, but I want you to know that our goal is to continue the steady increase that's been taking place towards a more balanced set of in-person and online offerings. As this picture shows from this recent Napa Valley Register story featuring some of our programs, all year we have been successful in safely offering in-person instruction in disciplines for which hands-on learning is essential and when most pedagogically appropriate. As vaccination availability for the staff and general population becomes more widespread, and as case rates hopefully continue to decline and allowances for classroom capacity increase, we will increase our in-person offerings. That said, we have learned from the last year that no one size fits all. Survey results show that there are widely varying preferences for instructional modality. While for some students, online instruction has proven challenging, for others, it has made access possible and flexible in ways that it was not previously. Disciplines that we have traditionally conceived of as only feasible in person have seen levels of innovation. For one example of this, you can tune into a production of A Chorus Line Online presented virtually tomorrow evening. While we have many years of data around course taking patterns and established approaches for enrollment management, we're having to relearn some of what we know. It would, I think, be naive to imagine that we will return to the exact same schedules that we had pre-COVID. So academic affairs is learning as much as we can about how our students and community needs by working with public affairs and communications and enrollment and outreach services to reshape and focus our approaches to scheduling, marketing, and outreach. The next slide, please. So this slide shows the registration deadlines for summer, and you can see that registration is just now getting underway, with new student registration opening in about 2 weeks. The size of our summer schedule is very similar to last year when we had strong enrollment. On the right, you can see some of the proactive and focused marketing that's occurring. And thanks to a campus-wide effort, our summer schedule is open for registration ahead of surrounding districts. I want to draw special attention to our welding boot camps, which have been highly successful in prior years. And over the next year, we're planning for a return and expansion of this kind of summer programming. The next slide shows you the fall schedule. We are only in the first draft of 3 iterations that the schedule will go through before it is finalized and posted live. However, before we even started working on a draft, a lot of planning and conversation went into how we would approach the design of a fall schedule. This work has set a strong foundation for more significant levels of in-person offerings next spring. Some of what we focused on in planning for the design of fall included, first, bringing back in-person choices, especially in lab and activity areas that hadn't been offered in person for several terms. Secondly, we wanted to ensure that there are many options for how courses are presented. Pre-pandemic, we offered synchronous and asynchronous online classes and some hybrid classes. Synchronous courses were scheduled on the same time blocks as in-person classes, but we've learned that we can be far more creative around the length of courses, how they are offered, and also considering what instructors have learned about what is most effective in online education in their unique disciplines. The next slide shows an example of this. So on the left, you can see Math 120, Calculus, and on the right, you can see some speech communications courses as examples of this. I've listed 5 different combinations that you can choose from for Math 120, such as a course that meets live online and also requires self-directed independent work each week, or you could choose to attend in person once a week and complete out-of-class work via Canvas at a time that works best for you. We also have CCAP agreements planned for next year and are likely to offer calculus fully in person on high school campuses. The Academic Affairs Council helped to define consistent terminology that has been incorporated into our published schedule so that students can easily look for and even search by the types of courses that works best for their schedule and learning preferences. And the last slide, please. Realistically, we can only use current guidance to make informed decisions and continue to evaluate and evolve until our schedules go live. Once students enroll, we have significantly more constraints in modifying our schedule. This slide highlights the collaboration between the scheduling office, academic divisions, student affairs, facilities, the health center, and campus safety. Classes will be scheduled in alternating blocks in person and spread across the campus to ensure time between use and to reduce student traffic. Every class that runs in person completes a safety protocol that is unique to the space it is operating in and reviewed by one of each of the offices I just mentioned. Classrooms each come with a kit of cleaning supplies. All air filters on campus have been changed and will be changed again prior to August classes. Portable HEPA filters and ionization systems have been purchased. Students who enroll in in-person classes receive specialized communication reminding them about health and safety self-checks, in-person masks, and social distancing expectations. And we will be updating our Safe Campus Guide for summer and fall based on new information. So I feel confident that we will have ongoing success in providing a balanced mix of courses as we continue to navigate a very unpredictable future. Thank you, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Dr. Parker, I had one question on the CCAP agreements when we were looking at the Math 120 slides.
Correct.
Could you just
Those are not listed there.
What exactly are the CCAP agreements?
College access pathway. I'm missing an A in there, but these are the agreements that we have with our local high school partners that allow high school students to take college courses during their high school day on site.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Any more? Are we good? All right. I don't know whether you stop sharing or Catherine does. There we go. Thank you. We are on our human resources update. Is that correct? Yes. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. As we're looking for planning for staffing through the summer and through the fall, the district will continue to allow all employees an opportunity to work a flexible work arrangement. These flexible work arrangements are documented and agreed to ensure that all staff have what they need, and we know who is on our campus and who is not on our campus. We began entertaining flexible work agreements when the pandemic began to encourage as many staff as possible to work remotely. However, as we continue to increase in-person instruction, as well as increase our support for students, we are planning on increasing staffing on our campus while still allowing a flexible work agreement. So we will continue to encourage these flexible work arrangements through the fall semester. Also, as a reminder, we will begin our 410 schedules in June throughout the remainder of the summer. Traditionally in the past, our 410 schedule would mean that the majority of, particularly our classified professionals, would be off on Friday. Last year and also this year, all of our staff will have an opportunity to select a different day throughout the week other than, in addition to Friday, but not just on Friday to take off. This will allow the district to still provide support to our students as needed. And we are currently, in addition to the flexible work agreements, we are also looking forward to planning and expanding our training and development efforts in human resources and training and development. We are building our cohort 2 of our KEYS program, which is geared towards our administrative confidential employees, as well as the creation of an additional certification program to support our classified professionals. As we have additional information on both of those endeavors, look forward to bringing an update here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Char. And Holly Dawson is out there with Public Affairs and Communications update.
I am. Thank you very much. And I'm glad that Dr. Parker mentioned some of the outreach and marketing that we're doing around summer enrollment. I encourage everyone, if you are on social media, check out the fun campaigns that we're doing with messages like take your dreams off hold and take 1 or 2 classes this summer and lighten your class load. We're doing some paid advertising through social media, targeted through Instagram and Facebook, and encourage you as Board of Trustees to support your college by sharing those with your friends on your Facebook pages and Instagram, because the more we can spread the word, the more attention we get. So that's my little pitch. I wanted to give you a quick update on our website and where we are. We will be bringing the contract for Modern Campus Omni CMS to the May board meeting. In the meantime, we are moving forward to implement a complete content audit, reviewing every college department's area on the website and identifying those pages that need to be fine-tuned, identifying broken links and PDFs, pages that can be archived, pages that are internal, can be moved to the intranet, which is another project that we'll be launching later this month with IT. Our goal is to make sure that our content is clean so that when we do migrate to the new system, we're not bringing over duplicative content, outdated copy, broken links, or accessibility issues. I will not pretend that this is not a daunting task, and it truly takes a village. But I know that the entire campus community is really excited and looking forward to our new website. And it has been, and it continues to be, a pleasure to have the opportunity to work with staff and faculty from basically every office and every building on campus to be able to bring the website to fruition. We have selected a designer named Red Rooster who will be working in tandem with the Omni CMS platform. Their team has designed several websites in the California Community College system, and they know Omni inside and out. They also are very familiar with guided pathways, which is key because that will be an integral component of our new website. The design process, which includes building out the HTML and CSS to reflect the new design, will begin June 1, and then we'll start integrating the designs into the new platform in August or September. Then we begin to migrate the content at the same time while the site is being built out in October and November. So we are moving the process as quickly as we can, but we want to do it right, and I'm really excited about where we will be soon. I wanted to share a couple of other quick updates with you. Trustee Baker mentioned that this week is National Library Week. It's also National Poetry Month. April has always been Community College Month, and this year community colleges are celebrating the inaugural Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Awareness Month. You can see my Zoom background. It's an opportunity for community colleges to engage in our new and ongoing efforts to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion and anti-racism across the college system, and invite everyone to take part in the conversation. The Chancellor's Office has provided a toolkit, which we've added to our newsroom website, where you can find Zoom backgrounds like mine, as well as other useful materials. And we're using the social media assets provided by the Chancellor's Office on our platform. Additionally, April 26th through 30th is Black Student Success Week, including a daily webinar series. We're communities, Emoja, and my team and I are working their perspectives for the learning. I want to remind everyone that tomorrow, and it's one showing only, it's a virtual production, and it is going to be fabulous. I think Bob V's in the audience, and he will attest to that. And I also wanted to share on a personal note, I am the incoming vice president for CC Pro, which is the California Community College PR organization. And we are launching our virtual conference tomorrow. It's 4 Fridays during this month. And I have the esteemed privilege of being selected to interview Chancellor Oakley next week. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Holly. You froze just a little bit there, but we got the essence of all of it. It was only for just a brief moment. So thank you. Exciting stuff happening, and really looking forward to all of
I don't know what is the virtual equivalent of the golden shovel for a website.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
We need something, maybe a hammer, a golden hammer.
A golden hammer. Maybe we do that. Metaphorically, we can do that. Okay. Well, am I missing anyone? Are we all good on?
I think we are ready for State of the College.
Good. All right. I'm going to do a couple things. Catherine, if you don't do this annual report yet, but I'm going to share screen just quickly on a couple points of PowerPoint, just for a moment here. This entire annual report is really so worth your time and energy. I am going to spend just a few minutes on it, literally like 10. I'm hoping. I have my watch out in front of me. Bob has been cued to go, so we'll see whether we can do this in a good way. Let me see if I can do this, and I'm sharing what I hope is something that says annual report. Correct? All right. And I know it's not quite the issue that you want to see, but this is the best I can do with my double screens here. Annual report is interesting. It's a backward-looking issue, so it tends to be kind of rear view. And we traditionally do a couple things with it. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Holly and Scott Allen for I almost said single-handedly, so it doesn't work. Multi-handedly working on this and getting it done in the midst of all the stuff that you heard Holly and Scott are working on and transitions of departments, etc. It's a lot of work to do this, and I really, really appreciate it. The issue, really kind of what is it for, is to give you and me and everyone else and the answer to that question that we get asked. How are things at the college? It doesn't matter who I talk to. How are things? How's it going at the college? And usually we land on one thing. This gives us a snapshot to look. I would say, overarchingly and with great conviction, that 1920 was a very successful year. It was a very challenging year, but I want you to walk away as trustees and the faculty and staff to know that I think people, and you, I think, believe, in talking and our students, that this was a very successful endeavor. These are the words that jumped out that appear in it, and we've talked about nimble, innovative. We talked about this. Very supportive, student focused. Oh my gosh, responsive, community hub, and then pandemic, virtual. Staff stepped up, and then Zoom rhymes with doom. But we end with that thing at the end. And we learned. So it is quite interesting to kind of work on it. We'll take a little bit of time. It provides a snapshot of the previous year, right? Highlights areas of special impact. And I'm saying this because we can't really call out everything, and it's hard to recognize all the classified professional staff and faculty administrators, you board who have done so much, the foundation, and then there's a lot of stakeholders involved. I mean, a lot of our community are intimately involved in projects at the college, making things happen that never come to your attention particularly, all the way from people who own entrepreneurial businesses to bankers and all the folks. So we are a small college in the midst. Coming this fall, Holly, I will again host a live event for the president's institutional vision and challenging for the college. I do it every year, which is, we should do this. So this is a reflection too on what we believe. So now if you can open that thing up, Catherine, and I'll just ask you to advance it as we kind of work. There is can we go to larger screen or smaller screen? I'm not sure. It's going to be clunky. There is an incredibly handsome devil you will see on the beginning, which is Oscar de Haro. It starts with, this is going to be tough. But it does introduce you as a board. The board was different at that time because, again, we're looking back. It's got a president's message that really outlines for the community. This is a tool for you, board, to really use to address some of those questions that come up in the community, and also to just get more steeped in some of the specifics. Okay, if you'll advance that thing over a little bit, and we'll do our best after this, the next one, please. Trying to stay on my timeline here a little bit. To talk about, it's very difficult to talk about 1920 because, when we launched 1920 and we're coming into the fall was a very good opening, very successful. We accomplished a lot. And so we rolled through the first semester in a very strong way. The college is doing well. We've got pretty good attendance. Things are clicking along. And then I was reviewing just a little bit COVID. January 3rd, there was an obscure story about something happening in China. And by the end of January, it had caught the world's attention. By February, we're into worldwide pandemic. And then we come into March, the whole baby closes again. So we really start talking about this, supporting our students in times of need. So we really shifted. I think 1920, no matter how successful the first semester might have been, is going to be defined by a whole generation, by this, and for us too. And as we said, several things have happened in here. I would encourage you to read it. I'm not going to be doing the kind of justice to this great piece of community involvement and document, but there are things here. The Office of Student Affairs stepped up massively in their support issue, and they transitioned to a virtual platform. I'm reading a little bit here. It established programs to help students stay on track. We expanded our Cal Fresh, which we didn't really know was going to happen in the food bank. You can advance to the next page too, please. Along with this, and we didn't get it for a while. We knew the pandemic was going to affect people, but we didn't realize the economic devastation that it would occur. And the system learned fast about, thank you, Catherine, learned fast about the kind of support our students needed and the choices they had, all right? The very difficult choices of staying in school, not staying in school, who's going to watch the family, who's going to make the economic resources that we need. So, the foundation stepped up, on the left-hand side here, you can see, and, came in with a remarkable amount of money. $220,000 was distributed. We have some student comments here, which are worth your reading. The food basket program helped hungry students. We started this program, Oscar and Ben Casada, and others, several years ago, just on an idea. I think, that this was a good time. We didn't really understand that it was going to be central as we started getting more food insecurities reports from the Chancellor's office, etc. The next page, partnering with the community. Told you I'm whipping through this thing pretty fast, but we have to. Olay Health Food Drive and our former president, Rosa Segura, and other board members were down there, and we handed out a couple thousand bags of food for 1,000 families. this goes to the point that I want to make here. We had established a couple years ago and really decided that Napa Valley College was not going to be an island unto itself. And that was not our goal. And that we were going to be a community hub for economic and arts, culture, training, and education. And we have done that so successfully, I believe, and including last year. I mean, people call on us regularly, from facilities to teaching to classified to anything, because they know that we are there, and generally speaking, we step up. And that is a very, very strong message for us. We donated ventilators. Bob Harris, who talked earlier, did a good job in connecting, if you remember back, and we donated those to, at the time, we felt there was going to be a great need and stepped up. Auxiliary Services Foundation continued to do its job and took some hits because many of those services and income were not realized because students weren't here to take advantage of the cafe or the bookstore. Next page, please. I don't know how you got it in here twice, Oscar. It's very, very disturbing, but here you go. Life moves on, right? And we graduated a great group of students, two fantastic, this is London Legree, but Khawaja Hussefa. Oh, Hussefa Khawaja, I'm sorry, I'm reversing it, was also, our valedictorians. And his picture and story are in this later in the document. But we did our best, and it was back to that page of being flexible and recognizing that students wanted something. We debated whether or not we could do this in person or not, and we really angst over this. But I think at the end of the day, people appreciated it, and we all know, right? Teachers, faculty, staff, people love the ceremony, and they want to feel that this was worth it. And I think that we're there. We're going to repeat this with enhancements this year, and hopefully in the fall or the spring of next year, we'll be returning. Thank you. Next page. Transfer, doing well. You can see down at the bottom of that first paragraph, we've got some good numbers. 266 transfer to CSU, 131 students to UC schools, 50 plus to private colleges to continue. And this misses a lot of people who are unclear about what they want to do. The stop outs, the students who continue to stay here to pick up a unit or two, even though they're already transferring or attending other colleges. Sonoma State has contacted us to see whether or not we can even solidify that more. There's good examples of student success here that I'd love you to read. Educational Pathways is on the next one. I'm not thrilled with everything that comes out of the Chancellor's office or the legislature. However, this one was a good one. It's part of this Chancellor's vision for success. And it really is kind of back to old school, which is, hey, if we just include the steps for students and map out for them where they're going, they're going to be able to get through our programs faster. It's been a really successful piece, not without super commitment by faculty and staff jumping in on this. It takes effort and a lot of time and a shift. Over on the academic side, on the same page, we touch on meeting the moment. It's at the top of that third paragraph, and it really was faculty and staff, shifting so quickly. I know there's a lot of business people in the community, but taking your business virtual over a week from a you can get it. So we really worked hard. They stepped up. The distance education team kicked into gear. There's a note here on our Instructional Design Institute that Academic Senate put into play. We sent faculty through that. Many faculty had never taught online or seriously taught online, so it was all about our students. It's what's on my chalkboard. We'll continue to be there. Faculty are there for our students, and this planning was important. Academic report card is on the next page. A couple things here. We've talked a little bit about it tonight in our AS and BC student. Go down a little deeper there, if you will, Catherine. You can see that ethnicity profile. We have been an HSI institution for a good many years. That number keeps going up, but you can also see that our other historically unrepresented groups, Filipino, two or more races, African American, Asian, Pacific Islander, are also increasing. So the makeup and demographic of the college is skewing in the right direction, I believe, which is allowing folks from disadvantaged backgrounds who couldn't come to college or aren't coming to college to be here. So I'm excited about that. The other piece that's still we're trying to figure out, but I believe it's probably not just COVID, but is a longer trend: females versus males. It was 50-50 for years. 10 years ago, it was maybe 1% or 2%, but you can see this gender profile is pretty dramatic. I think it probably reflects, and now I'm over 4 minutes, so Bob has already done it, but let's go to the next page. McPherson keeps going. We are going to honor, no matter what, our faculty, and Lisa Yanover and Sally Baldwin were chosen this year to be our McPherson Distinguished Teachers. This is an elite group of faculty. We have many here because people stay here a long time. So when we have this gathering next year, a live event, and they get together, normally they stand at graduation together, and it's remarkable to see the talent and expertise we have. The fiscal snapshot, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on, but I would like to draw your attention. That's the next page. Bob and team, actually everybody, have done just a fabulous job here. The walkaway is that we keep our budget and revenues in line, and we're businessy oriented here. So it's appropriate, prudent, reasonable, and responsible, and strategic. All of our spending has been that way. So we don't get out over our skis or deny funding of resources if there's a need. And that's a balance. I commend you on board. And I think we've done a really good job of that. We're at about 55 million if people ask you. And I would come back here, and Bob will unpack more of this during the audit and the budget process later in the year as well. Okay. And the last a couple pages here are donated to our performing arts and sports. Again, the first half of the year, it was so fun to go see. I didn't realize that I was not going to see Jennifer again in person do her, Belle of Amherst, which a lot of us went to, was remarkable. And there were other plays, and then Bob V, Jennifer, and the entire team, shifted to virtual, and it's been very successful. And as Holly said, there's, upcoming other events. So I think we've done a good job. We'll probably keep some of that knowledge that we learned and continue to do a few virtual performances. The last page, sports has been difficult, especially when we reflect on it now. And I just have 30 more seconds here, but wow, men's soccer continue to dominate the field, winning the Bay Valley Conference for the third consecutive year. Coach Choa was Bay Valley Coach of the Year. We have, Rachel Hadley and Randy Simmons is our coach, Bob Fresky in golf, and Parker in baseball. So we managed to pull it together and continue to have a presence out there for a small college. I believe that we can be very proud of our programs, and with that, we have a picture at the very end, which I think we have to thank Bob V again. Little bears with masks. And
actually, we need to thank the costume shop, because they were making the masks at a time when there were no masks anywhere in Napa.
That's right.
So we have to thank them for that, Ron.
Thank you. And that is a shout out. And I remember you coming by to people's offices with these masks, and the bears, I think, are quite embarrassed by this whole event here, but here we go. So thank you, Holly and Scott, and and group. It's a nice look back. This is available on a couple places on the website, and I'll make sure that you get there. And we will reflect on the last part of the year next year in that annual. But I would say that I'm really looking forward to the fall, and you can stop sharing this one. Really looking to the fall live event, which might be a combination of a ledge breakfast, or in Flex or the convocation. We have a lot to share here. You have a lot to share, board, and I'm very excited about where we're going. So sorry that was like full 9 minutes over. I just got a text from somebody. Sorry, did my best. So that is it, Madam Chair. We are finished with that one.
Thank you. That was definitely an incredible year. I can't believe it's been a year since so much of this is already. It just. Yeah, and yet we now officially are coming out. So, okay, so we made it through the report as well as through the pandemic. Not to compare the two. Let's see. So now we are moving on to item 10, which is the consent calendar. Do we have anything that needs to be pulled for discussion? Nope. Any public comment on any of these items?
I see no public comment.
All right then. So can I get a motion and a second, please, for the consent calendar? I heard Michael.
Second.
Okay, so a first from Trustee Baldini, a second from Trustee Rios. So Trustee DeLuna, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd?
Aye.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Trustee Baldini?
Aye.
Student Trustee Scholl?
Aye.
And myself, I will also vote aye, so that passes unanimously. Moving on to item 11, curriculum changes for spring 2021. We would be approving this to action item. Do we have any presentation on it or no? Nothing. Do we have any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Okay. Can I get a motion and a second then, please?
Move approval. Trustee Baldini.
Okay.
Second, Inez.
Okay, so Trustee Baldini moved and Trustee DeLuna seconded. Do we have any discussion on this item? So then, let's see, Trustee DeLuna, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd?
Aye.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Trustee Baldini?
Aye.
Student Trustee Scholl?
Aye.
And then I too will also vote aye, so we have passed that unanimously. So moving on to 12, we have an update on the campus student housing coming from Bob Parker.
Yes, thank you. So 3 significant things to report on campus housing since the last time we met. First of all, I'm sure you remember that at the end of December, we submitted our plans to the Division of State Architects. Knew that it would take about 6 to 9 months for them to be approved. That's how we got to groundbreaking in the fall of 2021. We submitted those plans in 2 increments. The first increment was for grading and underground utilities, and the second increment was for the structures themselves. The first increment is the one that obviously we would do first, and so those were the comments that we were hoping to get back quickly. We estimated it would take about 3 to 4 months to receive the approval and comments. We got the comments back in the last week of March on increment 1, so a little ahead of schedule. And so the architects and the Martin Group are preparing the responses to those comments. So it's moving along as scheduled. So that was good news. The second thing that's happening now is that we are MGT Consulting which is the firm that we hired to do the follow-up market study, which is required before we actually issue bonds. It's something that the bond underwriters and the any bond purchasers would want to see to make sure that demand is still there. And so that is taking place right now. So focus groups have been scheduled, and surveys will be going out to our students. And so that data collection process is taking place and will be completed this month. And then finally, due to our connection with the Scion Group, we were connected to a virtual roundtable that's taking place next week, sponsored by the State Treasurer's Office, which is featuring affordability. It's sponsored by the Treasurer's Office and the California School Financing Authority, and it is innovative strategies for increasing affordable student and workforce housing for California's community colleges. And so the roundtable will include the State Treasurer, Assembly Member McCarty, someone from the California School Finance Authority, and will feature the Santa Rosa Junior College Project, the Napa Valley College Project, and a proposed project at the San Mateo Community College District. So we're very excited about that being a part of that public forum to discuss addressing housing needs on our community college campuses. And those are the 3 items that have taken place since the last time we met.
And then 12.2, we're looking at an action to name the NVC campus student housing facility. I don't know if this one's going to be Dr. Kraft or Bob Parker to introduce. Whichever, you let you wrestle over it.
I can certainly take, there's not much more to add than what is in the agenda item, in that there were focus groups that were held with students to talk about. We actually got some recommendations from the Martin group that came forward, and then through the focus groups, what we landed on for a name for the student housing complex is River Trail Village at Napa Valley College. And we're all, I see Dr. Kraft has unmuted himself. We're all very, we're actually very happy with this name. We think it really represents what we want the image of the student housing to be.
Mm-hmm. So we need to have a motion for this, correct? Is there any public comment on this item? Okay, somebody coming up with a last ditch recommendation.
Well, I see we have no public comment.
All right, then can we get a motion and a second to name the River Trail Village at Napa Valley College?
Motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
Okay, so we had a motion from Trustee Dodd, and a second, I think, was from Student Trustee Scholl.
Yep.
So any discussion? All right, then. Trustee DeLuna, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Trustee Dodd?
Aye.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Trustee Baldini?
Aye.
Student Trustee Scholl?
Aye.
And then I also will vote in the affirmative. So we officially have a name for our soon-to-be student housing facility. Yay. All right. So then 13, we have no items. In human resources, we have no items for student affairs. And 14, for 15, we have guided pathways update. And I believe Dr. Sarah Parker is going to be telling us about that.
I'm going to at least start us off. I understand that last year around this time you received an update on Guided Pathways work at Napa Valley College, and I'm glad to be here this year and able to give you an overview of the progress that has occurred since then. Guided Pathways, let me just make sure I'm checking the window here. Catherine, do you mind opening up the presentation? Perfect, thanks. So Guided Pathways is a framework that encourages colleges to imagine every aspect of interaction and experience that students have with our institution from a student perspective, with the goal of reducing barriers that inhibit progress and success as students define it for themselves. And ultimately, through doing so, we contribute to our institutional goal of achieving equitable outcomes for all students. The 4 pillars of the Guided Pathways framework are identified on the right of the slide here: clarify the path, enter the path, stay on the path, and ensure learning. For Napa Valley College, our efforts and focus to implement system-level improvements related to these 4 pillars has evolved and grown over time. A Guided Pathways coordinating team is co-chaired by Dr. Robin Warnall and I, and it meets monthly. But the real progress is taking place across the entire campus in cross-functional teams. These are comprised of members from every constituency group on campus, in some cases through representatives appointed by the Academic Senate. And as the name implies, these cross-functional teams are bringing people from across campus together in new ways to make improvements for students. If you could go to the next slide, please. Tonight, Robin and I are joined by 5 colleagues who are some of those many individuals who are members of this campus-wide effort. And I'd like to thank all of them for coming tonight to talk about the work that they are doing. Robin, after I introduce the cross-functional teams, Robin will speak to the SOA, or the Scale of Adoption Self-Assessment Study that we recently completed. Jeanette McClendon is going to speak to our Early Alert or Starfish system. Emery Stafford is going to speak about AB 705 work, and Dean Maria Villagomez, Senior Dean Maria Villagomez, and John Kinchlow are going to talk about what we had been calling meta majors, but they now have a new title for. If you could move to the next slide, please. Okay, so I want to provide just the briefest of overviews about what each cross-functional team is focused on, except for the ones that are identified in blue, since the presenters will be sharing more detailed information about these. And I hope that this gives you a sense of the scope and depth of what's happening under the heading of Guided Pathways. Program mapping is a way to provide students with clear information about careers, courses, certificate and degree programs to help them navigate their academic course of study through the institution. Onboarding refers to the experience of helping potential or prospective students become students, enroll in our courses, learn about our services, and to be set up for success in college. Professional development around equity is happening in many ways across the campus, and one example that's been highlighted here tonight to the board is the Instructional Design Institute run by the Academic Senate. Student planning is technology that allows students to chart their course of study and sign up for classes in accordance with their student educational plan. Strategic enrollment management has to do with analyzing our schedule to ensure it is best meeting the needs of students and institutional strategic goals. The enhancement of student-focused technology team is ensuring that we are actively reviewing student voice and using technology such as to communicate with students in ways that best serve them. Caring Campus is an initiative led by classified professionals to develop campus-wide commitments that ensure students receive caring, compassionate service that fosters a sense of belonging and contributes to their success. And Degrees When Due has to do with our efforts to evaluate and identify students who either earned a degree and never received it or are close to earning a degree, and then assisting them in accomplishing that goal. You approved that partnership several months back, and we are getting ready to do our first targeted outreach to an initial group of students who attended NBC and have successfully completed over 60 units in the last 5 years. And now I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Warnall for a summary of the SOA.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Catherine, could you please advance to the next slide? Thank you. So MVC's Scale of Adoption Self-Assessment, or SOA, was attached to this agenda item. And we are required to submit a SOA to the Chancellor's Office each year. The SOA provides an opportunity to document what we have done in terms of implementing components of the Guided Pathways framework and to identify next steps for the coming year. Within the SOA, we rate our level of implementation along the spectrum that's outlined at the top of this slide. So that ranges from not occurring to not systematic to planning to scale, followed by scaling in progress, and then finally at scale. So we describe our level of adoption on the 23 essential practices associated with Guided Pathways. And this table identifies the number of essential practices associated with each pillar, and it highlights the progress that we made since last year. So for instance, for Pillar 1, there are 5 essential practices associated with that pillar, and we reported a higher level of adoption on 2 of those 5 practices this year versus last year. So in this summary table, you can see that a lot of activity occurred, particularly related to Pillars 2 and 3. And the final column of this table describes recent improvements highlighted in the SOA. So for Pillar 1, the catalog identifies careers associated with MVC programs, and that's a recent development. Pillar 2 improvements were associated with early alert and AB 705 implementation. And as Sarah mentioned, those will be highlighted next in this presentation. For Pillar 3, we implemented student planning, which includes a self-service module so that students can monitor their progress toward program completion. And finally, for Pillar 4, our academic programs have developed employment outcomes, and we have expanded professional development opportunities associated with equity. So now I will turn it over to Jeanette.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to share with you the updates regarding the Starfish Early Alert. For those of you who may or may not be familiar, Starfish is a retention tool that increases the students' retention, graduation rates, and persistence. We see Starfish through a holistic approach in that it connects the faculty, the staff, the students, and the administrators. So what can the faculty member do in Starfish? I'm glad you asked. The slide represents a snapshot of what's been going on. If you look at it, we've had student engagement. Over 1,600 students have logged into the system. Faculty engagement, we have faculty office hours, which are optional. Many of the faculty use Canvas, so that's why it's not many, it's an optional tool. Faculty also raises items, kudos if they're doing well, to acknowledge their success, and also to acknowledge that they may need some additional support in the option of lifting a flag. And then we resolve our student concerns by closing the loop, and we did over 199 of those. And then in the middle section, you see the Starfish progress surveys. We've currently have over 2,000 progress surveys that were deployed. You might remember that we used to offer the faculty paper academic progress reports. And so now it's easier for them to just do it online, click a couple of buttons, and then they're done. And then finally, we have trainings that actually began back in January and are currently ongoing. We understand that our tool isn't perfect right now. We have, we're always collecting feedback from our faculty and even our students, and we're hoping to improve our tool as we move along. We're finishing up phase 1 and we're moving into phase 2. Phase 2 is going to cover some additional roles like DSPS and veterans. And we're also going to expand our referral system, which would include the writing and the math center. So now I'd like to pass the baton on to Emery.
Thanks, Jeanette. My name is Emery, and I'm Stafford, and I am the Learning Community Coordinator for the Algebra Faculty Community Practice. And I'm representing about 20 different people that have been involved in AB 705 and the changes that we've undergone in math and English. I sort of detail three major ways that our curriculums and our approach has changed over the last couple of years. And the first one is that there's no more placement tests. When an incoming student comes and they want to know what level of English or math to take, we look not at what their placement score is, but we look at their high school GPA and their high school performance, because it's a better predictor of their success. It's also a less biased predictor. And so we're also allowing them into transfer level courses without a placement test. And so to support them in that, we've designed and implemented co-requisite courses that are taken simultaneously with their transfer level course. That's not an easy thing to do. And our faculty required some training and some support. And so we created and have been meeting almost once a week for the last couple of years for this project in learning communities or communities of practice. Professional communities of practice, I think, is a better way to describe it. But it's really representative of a tremendous amount of work and a tremendous amount of change that we've undergone. Implementing these changes has really allowed the math and English departments to develop new options for students. We've grouped courses into specific paths that fit student needs, which is why we're part of the Guided Pathways initiative. For example, in math, students can choose to follow the STEM set of courses, which lead to calculus, or they can opt for statistics path if they have a different emphasis. So we're trying to meet student need and anticipate what their choices are. The AB 705 cross-functional team has been a helpful place where faculty from math and English can coordinate with members of administration and counseling to ensure that what we've done is the right thing and continues to be the right thing for our students. For instance, we have some work that's been ongoing, and for instance, we're looking at some placement videos to explain the co-requisite courses, and we've been examining data from the SOA and from a recent review that the state has conducted on our programs. We believe that getting students on the right path with regard to math and English should be one of the main results of having successfully implemented our Guided Pathways program. And now I'm handing it off to John.
Maria.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Good evening, members of the board and members of the public. My name is Maria Villagomez, and I am the Senior Dean of the Library, Language Arts, Social Sciences, and Distance Education, and I'm currently serving as the admin co-lead for the Exploration Pathways cross-functional team, most recently known to us here at NVC as Meta Majors. Today, I am joined by my colleague, English faculty, John Kinchelow, who will present with me on this topic. So what is exploration pathways? This approach is part of the 4 pillars of the Guided Pathways framework as per the Chancellor's Office Vision for Success. Exploration Pathways offers clusters of academic majors of related courses and course-taking patterns that promote better enrollment decisions and create academic pathways for students to help with their success. Our task is to design and propose a clear structure for our students that will be organized and guided by our 104 degrees and certificates. Some colleges have created up to 10 academic clusters, while others have created around 6 of them. Based on preliminary discussions, Napa Valley College could end up within the state average in terms of clusters, which is between 6 and 8. To date, we have formed a team, a mighty team, I like to call us, with relevant stakeholders, and we have reviewed and analyzed degree, certificate, and prerequisite overlap data, which will help inform our structure. We have involved the campus community as part of the initial phase, and we plan to circle back with everyone again in the near future for additional feedback. Our cross-functional team expects to finalize its proposal by the end of the semester hoping it can be implemented in fall of 2021 and in time for spring 2022 registration. This project has been a true team effort and thus will reflect a shared vision. And now I'd like to introduce my colleague, John Kinchelo. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Maria. And good evening, board and everyone, all my wonderful colleagues out there. I am asked to talk about kind of what we've done so far with the EPCFT or whatever we're calling it. And so basically what we've done so far is, we've done a lot of data work, which Maria just spoke about, and but we did actually put out a survey to the campus, wondering about some finalists for naming. And so obviously what won are, because that's what we're calling the project now, the Exploration Pathways cross-functional team. And but it was an interesting process because we sort of whittled it down as a group. We looked at other colleges, what they had named it, kind of thought about what our goals were for the project, how we wanted to, frame it for the students. And what we ended up doing was we narrowed it to 3 examples or 3 choices and then an other. So we had communities of interest, exploring pathways, and pathways of exploration. So we had already even narrowed it to this kind of idea about exploration, which was very prominent in our minds as a team. And so we put that out, and our results were pretty overwhelming. For the whole college, we got over 100 respondents in our survey, including a lot of students. So that, like a big minority of the group was students, and they only saw it, I think, was marketed to them once, which was really impressive. They were very interested in being a part of this process, and I'll get to that later. But they overwhelmingly, the respondents chose exploring pathways and pathways of exploration. The vast majority chose that. So we took that. Exploring pathways was number 1. And we kind of combined them a little bit, and we got Exploration Pathways, which is a very kind of punchy title in our opinion. And it prioritizes the idea of exploration, which I thought was really important. And I think that the team kind of came to a consensus, which was really, we wanted to prioritize that idea as being important for students to see these pathways as a way of kind of finding their way through the college and exploring the different options that they have. So speaking of students, the big thing that we're working on now is trying to get students involved in this process. Obviously, they're the most important part of this, getting their feedback, listening to them, and doing focus groups, getting them involved. So we've actually had, Maria reached out to the students, and she got 7 students back who want to be a part of the team. So we're hopefully going to have them come into our meetings and start giving their input about their experiences, tell us about how they've experienced the college and how we can work that into our process. And that's the next step. And we're very excited about it. And yeah, that's it. Thanks, everybody.
So thank you again to all of the presenters for staying tonight at the Board of Trustees meeting and presenting all of this amazing information. I knew the title, but I actually didn't know the story behind it. So that was the first time I got to hear it. If you could go to the last slide, great. In conclusion, I want to say that the state has provided funding for the Guided Pathways framework through next academic year. But the way of being, right, the work that you heard about tonight that's captured by this framework, it doesn't require that the state mandate us to do that, because we have embodied, I think, the work, and we'll continue to do so as we move forward into the last year and beyond. And while there are some specific pieces that we already have fully in place, there's more to come. And there are many other areas where we've learned how to approach change and how that change can inform ongoing work across the campus. So thanks again, and let us know if you have any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for the group?
I don't have any questions, but that was an incredible presentation.
Yeah,
and I was definitely. I love how collaborative you guys are being, how thoughtful you are being in terms of just deliberating, getting feedback, and really just thoughtful and implementing that feedback. I think is Maria Villagomez said, definitely a mighty team.
Mm-hmm. And I like hearing from different people in different boxes. It makes it more interesting, and it's also just fun to see new faces, some that we haven't seen in a while and some that we've never met yet. So Thank you so much for taking the time to be here this evening and staying late with us. So moving on then, we have support for legislation 15.2, and I believe that Trustee Goff is going to start us off.
Yes, that's me. Short but sweet. So the Legislative Committee met March 30th, and there is one piece of legislation that we're hoping that the full board will support. And what we want out of this is for the board to direct staff to send a letter of support to Assembly Member Medina and the committee staff. And that piece of legislation is AB 927. You may not recognize the number, but you will recognize this because this is the one that would extend the operation of the current statewide baccalaureate degree pilot program for community colleges indefinitely. So right now, it grandfathers out. This would allow it to continue. The bill would also authorize an expansion of the program to allow districts and colleges to apply to the California Community College Chancellor's Office for approval of additional baccalaureate degree programs, which we all know is really important to us. At this time, I'm going to ask if Dr. Kraft wants to add anything, or if William Scholl would like to add anything to that, if you guys have any questions.
I think it speaks for itself. This is certainly something that's been in the district, in the state, and the district has proven itself at other institutions. And I believe our institution would be well served by examining the possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would like to thank the committee for doing this work, and particularly the kind of the groundwork that you did early on, just kind of creating kind of our general statements of things that we will support. Makes this very easy. So I really do appreciate your time and efforts in that. So unless anybody has any questions or anything, do we have any public comment on this item?
No, we do not.
No, we do not. Can I get a motion and a second then to
move to approve?
Right.
Second, Baldini.
So we had a move to approve from Trustee Rios with a second from Trustee Baldini. Any questions or further discussion? Okay. Trustee DeLuna, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Goff, Dodd?
Aye.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Trustee Baldini?
Aye.
Team Trustee Scholl?
Aye.
And I too will approve. So our action on this is that a letter is going to be sent. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So our action is that we are directing staff to send a letter on our behalf. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So we have nothing under 16. So then we are now on to 17 board reports. Has DOS had a meeting?
We did meet, and I just wanted to give a shout out for everything that Carol Lee has been doing for DAS lately. And there's a really good slideshow that's actually available on board docs. But a few of the big points that I wanted to point out were the $34,000 in grants that were received year to date, with another $94,000 that have been applied for that are in process. The Writers Conference, those are some of the grants. Grants will cover the Writers Conference, housing hotels due to COVID. We don't have hosts for conference participants this year. There was a loss in Performing Arts Center revenues. And that's it. I would direct you guys to look at the slideshow that Carol Lee put together. That's available through board docs.
That's it. That's in the agenda from meeting, your previous meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. So let's see, Viticulture and Winery Foundation Board. Trustee Baldini, have you met?
No, we have not. No meeting.
And Legislative Affairs Committee, did you have any further report, Trustee Goff?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Thanks to Holly Dawson, as always. It's a wonderful committee, I have to admit, between Catherine Kittle, Holly Dawson, Jeff Dodd, Trustee Inez, and William Scholl. It's a great group. So on the 30th, we met, as I said, we talked about AB 927, but we also reviewed a couple other bills that Holly is really tracking. AB 102 and AB 103, those are both bills addressing college and career access pathways. So we really want to make sure we pay attention to those. Also AB 940, which would amend Proposition 63 by appropriating funds from the Mental Health Services Fund to the UC, CSU, and CCCs to implement the College Mental Health Services Program. We felt that was really important. We're expecting the Chancellor's Office and the League to take positions on additional bills, and we're going to review those at our next meeting in early May. So we'll come back with more.
Thank you.
That's all I've got. Thanks.
I know that the Audit and Finance Committee has not met, although we do have a meeting in a couple of weeks. So, Real Property Committee, Trustee Rios, have you met?
Not met.
All right. And McPherson Distinguished Teaching Award. What is this?
I can say we did meet. I want to do a huge shout out to Christine Tapia and Sarah Parker for organizing, revising, putting together a process that really works. We had a wonderful meeting. Was it yesterday? But I can't say anything. Just know there's some really exciting news coming out. And when it happens, I'm going to refer it to Dr. Sarah Parker so she can go crazy with it. Because she really did a great job of putting this forth. So when we have news, it's all her. She's the one that gets to announce everything. But it's all good.
Look forward to Dr. Parker going crazy.
Yes, going crazy. It's going to be big. It's going to be big, people. Can't wait.
I can't wait. Can't wait. All right. Napa Valley College Foundation. Kyle, do you have any report?
Jessica covered pretty much what's going on with the foundation. Thank you.
All right, then we are on then to 17.2. I keep trying to click on it and I realize that's not my screen. Future agenda items.
Baker?
Yes.
Was there something for the Dr. Ed Schenk committee?
It wasn't on the screen. I have it on my screen, but not that. Yes. Do we have anything from, we actually have two other items. I apologize for that. And both of them are Trustee DeLuna. Accreditation Steering Committee. Do you have anything to report?
We did meet and things are going really well. I am looking forward to learning more and getting more input. I think the next stage is in May, I think. I'm not sure about the dates because I don't have my notes with me, but they are going to be coming up. We're going to meet again soon. And yeah, and the Ed Schenk committee, we have not met yet. So I'm looking forward to doing that too.
All right. Thank you so much. Apologize for missing that. Let's see. So then now we are on to 17.2. Does anyone have any items that they would like to put on our list?
I have one, Madam Chair. And I think we kind of touched on this, but I know with the Unified District, there's been some changes with the field youth, and I have had some constituents in the community that have reached out about looking at the college as a venue. So I don't know if we could possibly bring back our youth process for the fields out there, the facilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't really talked much about it since the baseball team left. So anybody have any objections to bringing that forward? I think it would definitely be worth just getting an update on what our current policies are, and then see if there's anything we can do in terms of outreach to make certain that people are aware of opportunities and what might need to be tweaked.
Yeah, I know just for one of them is actually the nonprofit Saints Football Association. They had reached out and they were looking for another venue. So I don't know if they've gotten an application in or where that's at, but I know that those facilities are underutilized, and if the community is ready to start using them, then we should be looking at that.
That sounds like a good plan. Any other items? All right, then. We will then move on to our final item, 17.3, trustee and board chair reports. Trustee DeLuna, do you have a report for us?
Just that I attended the CCLC Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion meeting today. It was very informative, and they presented a resolution for the state, and just a call to action is to urge the colleges to sign this resolution or adopt it by June 30th. And I'll get more information from them, but it was very interesting. It was inspiring, and I think all of those webinars are truly informative and beneficial. So I really liked it. Thank you.
Yes, and please do, if there's anything that you'd like us to consider, please let us know so we can get it on our list. Okay, Trustee Dodd, do you have a report?
Storm baseball opening day, Thursday, April 15th, 2 p.m. Be there or be square.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to be square. Well, I'll stay home and eat Cracker Jack for you. How about that? All right. So, Trustee Goff, do you have a report?
Just two things I want to mention. Number one, again, I'd like to thank Dr. Sarah Parker for forwarding me the recording of the dual enrollment Zoom presentation. It was really exciting for me to listen in on that, even though it was recorded and I got it kind of late. I just had a conversation with a couple of teachers today. I'm sure you guys who are on campus know the feeling, right? I go to our campus and you see no one. You see no one until you get your COVID test. That's when everybody has to come and they're swabbing and they're doing all that. And you get a chance to stand 6 feet apart and actually say, oh my gosh, you're here. It's great. So I actually was speaking to two teachers, both teaching AP classes, saying we need dual enrollment for English. The AP classes are wasted time. We need to get them in college classes. So I said, okay, I will definitely mention that at the board meeting and poke Sarah Parker and say, let's get this going. The other thing I want to say is I am so thankful. Just in the last month, I've had legislative committee meetings and the McPherson Award committee meetings, and I cannot think of better people to work with. When you talk about, going to work and then doing something like serving on a board, the reason it's so wonderful to do this is because of the people who you get to work with. So I really want to thank those members of each of those committees for their time, for always being ready and just being so organized, and you walk in and you're going to get the job done for our students and for NBC. So I just want to give a shout out for all those people on the committees and who do all that backroom stuff as well. And just thank you so much for making it so enjoyable. I really appreciate it.
All right, then. Do we have Trustee Iverson? Do you have a report?
I do not have a report. Thank you.
And Trustee Rios, do you have a report?
I do not have a report.
Trustee Baldini, do you have a report?
I have no report.
You guys are going fast. Student Trustee Scholl, do you have a report?
Nothing to report.
All right. Well, gosh, you guys got to me faster than I expected. Hold on, I'm trying to fix something for my kid. So I really don't have much to report either. I also was in attendance at the dual enrollment presentation, which was really interesting because I need to find out more about that because I've got a kid who hopefully will be doing that someday in the near future. So really, it was just really good to see all of the different how organized our folks were. And how well they did in explaining the process and down to the nitty gritty stuff, which was really going to be helpful. So, and everything else I was going to say is flown out of my head because I'm going to blame COVID vaccine brain fog. So thank you all for your report. So I don't believe we need to continue to close session. We finished everything we need to do there. So our announcement to future meetings is going to be May 13th, next month, our regular meeting, and we can be adjourned at 8:24 p.m.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye, thanks.
You guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Jennifer, thank you.